All right, today we get to create our very own course. Let's get straight into this. Welcome back, or welcome in. Today we're creating our very own course. The neighbor put some baskets out for us and gave us permission to kind of make our own little course out here. So we're gonna try to shoot for 9 holes, but at bare minimum we're gonna do 6. Goal going into this, try to get a little bit of some longer holes and maybe a couple short ones. He's got some wood line out here, so I think we should be able to get some gaps if we place some tee areas in the wood line a little bit. So we're gonna walk the course, start setting up some holes and kind of see what we're going with. Right now I've already set the tee pad for hole 1. It's probably gonna be a long par, or that'll probably be about a par 4. We'll see. I'm in the process of walking that over there now, so we will go check out the distance. And okay, so we are at the green of what is going to be hole 1. Now if you look around, I'm gonna play this as anything in the tall grass around this green is gonna be OB. So it should be pretty interesting. Now I'm gonna walk over here. We're gonna place where the basket is 595 feet. So that is definitely going to be a par 4. There is nothing in the field right now that we can play as Mando or anything interesting. So we'll have to play that out as it goes, but he did plant some new trees out in the field recently, so that should actually make some of this pretty interesting. And he put the basket right next to one of them, so I'm gonna try. I don't know, we'll see. There's gonna be a lot of back and forth on this, and I'm not gonna let you guys have to go through the entire thought process on it. If it's something you guys are interested in, then we can go through that in a separate video as far as to like what the ideas were when we put it together. Which when I play it for the first time, I'll talk over some of that when I get to each individual hole anyway. But yeah, so this is gonna be hole 1. We're gonna go find a good tee spot for what will be hole 2 and figure out where he put the 3rd basket at. Because I know he told me a location, but I think the one out in the field now is one that was where I thought it was before. So we'll have to see. Okay, so we're standing at what I think is gonna be a perfect location for the 2nd tee. Because I want something that comes out of this wood line that is kind of a gap hit where we have to come out and about to that basket out there. That being said, I may end up bringing one of my own baskets over here and just getting rid of my little 2 double basket putting setup. Just because if we're looking down, I'll try to zoom in when we go through this, but this tunnel gap that he drives down with his tractor when he's doing all of his work would be awesome. And with all of the trees as they're set up, like it's a very clear gap. And there's not a lot of overgrowth. So even if you miss the gap and you end up in that tree line, now that's super tight, so you're basically stuck pitching out. So it'd be very punishing if you end up over there. But I think it would be a great line to have to hit. So we'll see. That could be something I end up doing. If it is, I got in contact with him because he'll bring his tractor, his side-by-side over. We can throw it in the little trailer that he has for it and just drive it over here instead of me having to lug it all this way. Anyway, so I think we're gonna take and set this tee pad up probably about even with this tree here and have it where it comes out that gap where the kids are currently posted up at. This is gonna turn out a little bit better than I was anticipating, I think, for what it's gonna be. I haven't been down in this part of the property yet, but this is way better for some of the wooded stuff than I was expecting. So I'm kind of excited. Okay, so I'm walking out this gap. And as you come up, this is probably gonna be a long par 3. I might make it a short par 4 just because it's pretty low ceiling coming out. So some of the distance is gonna be difficult to get, but it could just be something I adjust as I go. If the par 4 just feels too easy, then I'll make it a par 3. But right now, as you come out, there's this pile that he's actually planning on burning off here soon. So that'll make this a little bit better when he does. But for now, it kind of forces you to have to play to the right of it, which I honestly think I'm gonna play this as a Mando. And if you land in that, it's gonna play as OB. So that'll be interesting. Now, as we're walking out here, it opens back up where we're just in the open field. And this basket is probably about another 150 feet out. So when we get there, I'll show you where it's at and what we're looking at. So me and my daughter are currently having an argument on what color this is. I say orange, she says red.
I am red orange.
I am willing to agree to red orange, but nonetheless. So our basket location for hole 2 is out here in the field. It's pretty wide open once you actually clear that initial gap and you're past that OB brush. So you shouldn't have too much to fight with, which will be nice. Now, the basket itself, these trees here that he has just got planted like yesterday. So if he puts any more of those up, it could make this very interesting as we go through. We're looking at about 450 feet because you kind of have to come out and around. Straight flight distance is only like 340 feet. So for starters, I'm gonna start this as a par 4. I'll take some suggestions in the comments of whether or not you think I should adjust it, especially after we see how it plays, and we'll go from there. But right now I think I'm gonna start as a par 4, potentially drop it down to a par 3. All right, look, I told you guys, this is gonna change a lot. But that one line that we were talking about being able to throw down that tree line, I actually found the other basket. It is right here. And if you look through out here, there's a line through here and a line through here, as well as another middle line through here. But long story short, they all funnel through to where if you come down and it ends up being a placement shot, you can play up to this basket through that long tunnel shot, which is exactly what I wanted. So I think hole 2 is gonna change to where this is the basket, and then I will make another adjustment to where what our hole 2 that we just had will become, I don't know, another hole. I don't know what number that's gonna play in at yet. I'm trying to make this course make as much sense as possible. But yeah, that's definitely going to happen. So I'm about to map this out real quick. Okay, so I've got this worked out now for hole 2. It is gonna wrap down from where our original tee pad was for hole 2. And instead of going out into the field like we had before, it is gonna come down that line I showed you guys through the trees, up, and you will be able to throw through one of these gaps in front of us up to our basket, which is positioned right here. UDisc currently has this listed at 394 feet. Based off the fact that it is a placement shot, I'm gonna make this a par 4 because I don't think there's any way to get up to this basket in one shot. At least not based off of my skill level. I'd like to get somebody that's substantially better than me out here and see what they think. But all in all, I think this is going to play as a par 4, a short par 4, but a technical par 4. Something that you can get in a lot of danger very quickly if you find yourself off of the fairway. So I think that's gonna be my game plan here. Even UDisc has it set up as a par 4, suggested at least. So I'm not too far out of the realm of possibility for what that should be. So now I'm gonna move us back a little bit, and we're gonna come up over here on this other side of this hill, and we're gonna have to throw up and over to get to the basket that we had out in the field. We are gonna set the tee pad up for hole 3 right about here. And as we set the camera, and you guys look, so we're gonna go here. Actually, I should probably set you guys up with a way better angle on this so you can see what I'm looking at for how this is gonna go. Now, mind you, this hole specifically is set up in a way that if you've watched even a handful of the videos on the channel so far, you will recognize I don't have a forehand. So this hole is set up specifically to kind of counteract that. Super low ceiling, you wanna hit the gap and get out and about, but once you clear the gap and clear this private property Mando, you basically have an open field to do whatever you want with to get towards the basket. My guess is this is probably gonna play as a par 4 as well. Distance-wise, probably gonna be like 600 feet or so. It may even play as a par 5, but for now, we're gonna set our tee. We're gonna walk out and get to the basket and set up our little lines. So back at our old hole 2 basket, new hole 3, we're gonna go ahead and place this, and we're looking at 683 feet. I would say hole 3 is good. I actually think this would be a really cool island hole at some point, to where you have a carry that you have to make it out, but with this not really being my property, I can't flag off a full OB area in order to make that easily marked. But the idea behind it I think would be cool. All right, walking over to where I want the tee for hole 4 to be. I really wanted it to be further back, kind of closer to where the basket was for hole 2. But he has his trailer and stuff over there, and I don't want to risk like hitting it. Now, mind you, it's going to do more damage to my disc than his trailer, but you know, we got to respect people's property and their things. So we're not going to do that. That being said, we are, however, going to set this tee pad up right next to it so that we have to throw out and then around to where our basket for hole 1 was. Now, it's probably gonna end up being another par 4 if I had to guess, but I'm not entirely sure. Also, I made the hole 3 a par 5. Again, that could be something that has to be shifted, but it's kind of a short par 5 with it being just below 700 feet. And I don't think there's quite enough difficulty once you clear that initial gap. I just think for most people at my level that are likely to be playing this course, like with me, are going to have an issue of not being able to get a full distance off of that tee shot. And if that's the case, then a par 4 is the best you're gonna get, and it's essentially never gonna be birdieable. So I think I would rather have an potentially eagleable par 5 if you get a great tee shot and are able to get some distance, versus having it set up as something that would be a very, very difficult birdie on a course that I'm not setting up to be that difficult. So, that being said, anything that ends up in this tree line as we go down, it'll be considered OB for this hole. Just to add that added difficulty, I imagine most people you're gonna throw a backhand off the tee and you're never gonna have to worry about it. But on the off chance that you end up over there, there is some punishment. So then we're gonna come up and around this brush pile that he has set up. Once he burns it, then it'll be, I don't know, different, but it's there for now, so it is existing. Again, OB if you somehow end up in it, and then down to our basket for hole 4, or our original basket for hole 1. And then we're gonna move into hole 5, which is going to be the one that I had set up for hole 2 originally. That is gonna be hole 5. Hole 6 will play out to hole 2's new basket location. And then we have a 6-hole course, and I don't know really what to try to do for the last 3. So we'll see how that plays out and what that looks like. But I don't really know for sure. All right, so we're back at hole 1's basket for what is now going to be hole 4's basket as well. 587 feet. So another par 4. So all the greens are essentially going to play the same. This one I would love to put some flags out and around to kind of make this like an island green, to where you have to make it up. But again, I don't have the capabilities to be able to do that with it not actually being my property. I mean, I'm not trying to give him more obstacles to mow around. That's just, for lack of a better word, kind of a dick move. But I also want to set this up to where like family and friends can play it. So granted, when he has his family over and they do whatever, they can make it as short or as long as they want. This is mostly just for references. So anyway, on to our hole 5, and then we'll see if we can brainstorm some ideas to actually give us a 9-hole course so we can play a loop. Okay, so we're back at the tee for hole 5. Just for reference purposes, when you take hole 5, I'm gonna have the tee kind of back a little bit further. And then for hole 2, it is gonna be shifted up slightly to here. And then you can see the line that you have to throw down. There will probably be a Mando on that big tree up there. I don't think it's gonna matter, but I might look into doing that depending on how the lines play out once we get up there. Obviously, I have not thrown any of these yet, so I don't know what any of them look like, but we'll see. So we'll find that out in a minute. We're gonna walk back out to the other basket. You guys have already seen it. You know what it is. We already know what the distance for it is as well, so we know it's gonna play as a par 4. We'll go ahead and move on to the basket for what is now gonna be hole 5. Hole 6, I have a pretty good idea of how that one's gonna play out, and then we'll set that up and move on. So it's really those last 3 that are kind of up in the air right now. I don't know. You guys will have to leave me some comments, give me some ideas on some corrections. All of this is off the top of my head. First run through just to see what it plays like. So yeah, honestly, I'm trying to fill gaps in footage with the fact that my SSD died and I lost about a month's worth of footage. So I'm out here doing this a little earlier than I was planning on doing, but the weather's pretty perfect for it. So I guess I'll take it as a blessing and hope that I can get all my footage back without having to spend too much money on it. So we'll see. These little adventures definitely make my son tired, because he is like We'll see if you can see him over here, but he's just trudging along, just trying to keep pace with us as his sister's out riding on her bike and I'm just kind of walking around. Now, mind you, I'm not going fast and it's a wide open field, so he's fine, but he doesn't want to take his jacket off and it's definitely starting to get warmer.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to comment and subscribe and like, and don't forget to comment your best, funniest disc golf story to make me laugh.
Yeah, we still got that giveaway going on, and she's actually the one that reminded me of it. So I've been reading her the stories as we go along. I've actually got a couple to catch her up on. So put your name in the hat, give us those funny stories, and let's see what we got. And for this, we're looking at 434 feet. And I'm gonna again make it a par 4 because I'm trying to make most of these obtainable, but with the gap that you have to hit with the low ceiling, I think it's reasonable.
Get a drink of water.
Yeah, go get water. Go with Sissy. Leave your jacket over there too, silly.
I know.
Not you, him. Anyway, again, give me your suggestions on things I can do to improve this or make it better, especially after you guys watch the video for playing through it. But I know most of us have thought about making our own courses, so I thought a video of me actually trying to do it would be kind of fun. It's not as straightforward as I thought it would be, and I don't expect this to go perfectly the first time through. I am fully expecting to have to make some adjustments. All right, so for hole 6's tee pad, we're gonna set it up here, and we want this tree to be the Mando, but we don't want to end up in their yard. So I think this distance is reasonable for that. You should be able to throw a safe hyzer, swing it around the tree. Hopefully one day it'll grow up big enough where it's very obvious Mando, versus now you're kind of just, don't play it too close. You know, take that judgment call out of play. And then up to our basket that we had for hole 2, which is underneath the tree line over there. So you can really throw, this is going to be a hyzer without a doubt. You can try to throw a forehand once you get up past, but without a doubt, the way this hole is shaping up, you know what, actually on that front, so instead we're going to make the Mando to the left of the tree, where you have to throw it up and around and kind of force a forehand or a turnover shot. Because why am I playing to my strengths here when I could be using this course to make myself better? So instead of hyzer, you're looking at forehand hyzer and layup, and there's a chance like you can throw straight at it, because I can see the tip of the basket. I'm not going to be able to zoom in enough for you guys to, but I can see the top of the basket from here, and you could throw straight at it if you wanted. But distance wise, this is probably 400 feet or so. So I don't think we're going to be able to play this as a par 3. But nonetheless, we're going to set the tee here and then walk out there and actually get an accurate estimate on what our distance is. And as we walk out to hole 6, I feel the need to make the note that when you guys watch the videos of me playing this hole, there are no set tee pads necessarily. It's just I place the marker on UDisc, you get to the general vicinity, you're a few feet off. It's not set up to make that much of a difference. So the tees themselves are mostly just guidelines on where you should roughly be throwing from. And if you're a few feet off here or there, that it shouldn't affect the overall playability of the hole. Now, as we walk up here, we have this Connex. So we're gonna play anything over the Connex as OB. And if you end up in the gravel that this Connex is set on, which runs up to the front over here. Now there's a lot of grass that grows through it, but you can very still clearly see where the gravel is, and it's a very small section. So ultimately speaking, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But if you happen to end up in this gravel, we're gonna play that as OB as well. Mostly just to, I don't know, add a little bit of difficulty out here. I don't think it's gonna come into play hardly ever, but nonetheless. So as we get back to the basket, we'll go ahead and get our measurement on where it says we are. I'm here. Reuse the same basket. There are no dog legs on this, but what I do want to do, well, actually no, you can just leave it. There's that tree, but it doesn't show up on the map yet because they're so new. We can leave that, and we're looking at 434 feet. If you have distance like that, great. If you don't, which is me, I don't. Definitely gonna play this as a par 4, because I know the vast majority of people that I play with are not gonna be able to hit this distance, especially because I think the line gets pretty particular if you want to get all the way here. So our tee pad for hole 7 is gonna be here. Probably about right here, okay? And then our shot, and then we're gonna make this a nice aceable par 3. Just straight up through this little gap. Mando on this tree here, Mando there, so you have to come through. Okay, so from our tee pad, we're back at the basket. Sure we recognize the green by now? 254-foot hole. Perfect par 3 through the gap. Nice ace run potential. I actually think I'm really going to enjoy this hole. You got a Mando right at the front. Pretty quick and easy to get through. Shouldn't really be in your head that much, but just because you call it a Mando makes people think about it. Par 3. Boom. I think I'm gonna like hole 7. Hole 8. We kind of have this little protector for this tree he has planted here as a marker. And we're gonna throw straight out to that red-orange basket we were arguing about earlier. And it should, no, it's okay, bub. It should be close to 300 feet, which again, I think is gonna be a perfect par 3 hole to finish this up with. And then the last one is gonna go to our hole 1's basket, and we'll figure out where that tee's gonna be. But I think that's gonna be a good finishing 3-hole stretch for something that a beginner to intermediate should have some fun. Back at our red-orange basket, marking 295 feet. Again, perfect. I said right about 300. This gives us any shot that you would possibly want to take on this hole is an option. Great ace hole run. You want a snack? You gonna say hi? You wanna say hi? Hi. He wants food. We'll get him some food here in just a second. We got one more hole to map out and then back to the house to eat. No, tóquelo. You can say hi, mommy.
Hi.
He just wants to mess with it. It's what he does. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and find our tee pad for hole 1. Daughter's already hiding out by the basket. So we're gonna see what distance we think is gonna be fun. Hole 1 with the OB being all the way around the green, I don't think is gonna be much of an ace run hole. So I think I'm going to make it a slightly longer par 3, maybe about 350 feet, and go from there. Gonna be a lucky guess on the tee pad though, since I'm kind of just winging it. I think this is gonna be a good spot for hole 9. I doubt I'll be able to zoom in far enough for you guys to see her, but my daughter is currently posted up out by what is hole 1, 4, 9, I don't remember. Nonetheless, that basket. And yeah, we'll see what this ends up being once we get out to the basket and what we're gonna finish off on. I'm hoping that it's roughly gonna be about 350 feet, par 3, right at the edge distance of most beginners and right at that attainable distance for most intermediates. Nice. All right, we're back at hole 1 and whatever else it adds up to being, because I don't remember what other hole it was. I'll figure it out when we play it. Reuse same basket. 406 feet. So just a little bit longer than what I wanted, but it still kind of accomplishes the same goal, especially for kind of where I'm at in my game. No toque. No. But it kind of accomplishes the same thing, especially for where I'm at in my game and what I'm able to get and trying to push into that 400-foot distance. So we're gonna do a 406-foot par 3 to finish. Looks like we're finishing at a 9 holes, par 34 at 3,844 feet for the course. So all things considered, not too bad. Oh, we're open.
Don't forget to comment your best, funniest video.
Oh.
Make me laugh. Just in case you forgot.
You might want to say that a little louder for the ones in the back.
Okay. Don't forget to comment your best, funniest disc golf video to make me laugh. Whoever does it gets the disc that is on the shorts.
Yeah, that DD line, or that DD3Q line, blue one, is up for grabs. I didn't bring it out with me. I took it out, set it aside, so I'm not tempted to throw it. That way, it is still brand new for whoever gets it. That being said, leave your story, make us laugh. Best story gets the disc. Stay tuned. I will be playing this course maybe later today. If not, I'll come out tomorrow and play it. And then I am also planning on doing an in the bag now that we're coming up towards the end of disc golf season, like official disc golf season with the weather. We're gonna do an in the bag of what is currently in my bag and what has made the cut. I have a few more cuts to make with that Q-Line DD3 and what I plan on doing with it. So something has to get taken out if that is going into my bag. And honestly, right now, it almost looks like it could be the Destroyer or maybe the Wraith. I'm not too sure yet, so we'll see. That being said, stay tuned for that. It's been Dis Daddy from Diapers to Drivers. Until next time.